Hello and welcome to my INFA 736 class presentation on the Social Engineering Toolkit within Kali Linux. My name is Josh Hofer and I'm going to provide you a general overview of the Social Engineering Toolkit, followed by a demonstration on hacking a Facebook account by obtaining a user's username and password. Let's first start out with a couple references. I used a website, InfoSec Institute, and also our Metasploit, the Penetration Tester's Guide class book that we're using this semester. So the first question is, what is social engineering? Well, according to Wikipedia, social engineering refers to the psychological manipulation of people into performing actions or divulging confidential information. So it's a type of confidence trick for the purpose of information gathering, fraud gathering, or system access. Basically manipulating people. So what is the weakest link in security of any information system? You guessed it, people. The Social Engineering Toolkit, also referred to as SET, was created by David Kennedy. It's included in most recent versions of Kali Linux Backtrack. SET is an open source Python driven tool. There's no command line, so it's completely menu driven. It focuses on attacking the human element. The attacks built into the Social Engineering Toolkit are typically used during a penetration test. Some of the examples of the attacks could be attacks against Facebook, Gmail, Twitter, or any other website that a user may be using. How do I access SET? Well, from within Kali, go to Applications, Kali Linux, Exploitation Tools, Social Engineering Tools, and then the Social Engineering Toolkit. After you open SET, you'll receive the following menu of items. The demo that we're going to do uses option 1. Here's an overview of the 11 different types of attack vectors that you can choose from within the Social Engineering Toolkit. Website attack vectors is the one that our demonstration will be on, but we'll do a general overview of each one very quickly. Spear phishing attack vectors allow you to specifically craft email messages and send them to your targeted victims with attached file formatted malicious payloads. An example of this would be to send a malicious PDF document. Once they click on that, it would infect their machine. It would be important, in order to spoof your email address, make sure the send mail flag is set to on within the application. Website attack vectors. It's a unique way to utilize multiple web-based attacks in order to compromise a victim. You could perform phishing attacks to entice the victim to click on a malicious link. The credential harvester attack method is the method we're going to use during our demo when we try to obtain Facebook credentials. The infectious media generator creates an auto-run INI file and a Metasploit payload. Once the payload and auto-run file are burned or copied on a USB, and when the DVD, USB, or CD is inserted in the victim's machine, it will trigger an auto-run feature and compromise the system. Of course, it's all contingent on the auto-run being enabled for that particular device. You can create a payload and listener. This will automatically create a payload and listener for you. It'll export the exe file and generate that listener. Of course, it's all contingent, once again, on the victim downloading that file and executing it to get to the shell. You can perform a mass mailer attack. This mass mailer attack can be targeted towards a single email address or multiple email addresses. Arduino-based attack vector. This attack vector auto-generates the code needed in order to deploy the payload on the system for you. It'll create a PDE file necessary to import it. The SMS spoofing attack vector is the next vector we'll talk about. This module allows you to send a crafted SMS message to a person. You can convince them to click on the link and send that target to the victim. It's very similar to a mass mailer attack. Wireless access point attack vector is exactly what it says it is. You create a fake access point, you redirect all traffic back to you, and run any attack vector within set against those targets. QR code, once again, we'll create a QR code similar to any of the other vectors for whatever URL you want, and then you can run any attack vector within set. PowerShell attack vector creates a PowerShell specific attack. And then the third-party module. So any new PI file that you will add will automatically be imported into the set under the third-party modules. So now we're going to jump in and go through a demo on how to hack a Facebook account and obtain a user's username and password. First thing we're going to do is jump into Kali, and we're going to start the social engineering toolkit. So we click on Applications, Kali Linux, Exploitation Tools, Social Engineering Toolkit, and SE Toolkit. While that's loading up, we're going to obtain our IP address and copy that because we're going to need to know that. 192.168.231.128. Okay, so we're in the Social Engineering Toolkit. We're going to choose option 1, Social Engineering Attacks. We're going to go into Website Attack Vectors, option 2, followed by Credential Harvester Attack Method. Here our options are Web Template, Site Cloner, or Custom Import. We're going to clone a site, so we're going to choose option 2. And here's where it wants the IP address of our machine that's going to host this site, which is our local IP. We're going to paste that in, hit enter, and the URL that we want to clone. So we're going to do Facebook, www.facebook.com. It's going to take just a moment to come up. Do we want set to start the Apache process? Yes. And now we're ready. So now we're going to jump over to our Windows machine. This could be a Windows PC on the network, a server, any device that the end user is going to use. Before we hop in, we're going to do a small manipulation to the host file. It may be a little bit difficult, depending on how much training you've done for your users, to get them to click on a link that has an IP address. So we want to direct them to 192.168.231.128. Well, if we gave them a link with that IP address, they may not click on it, which, as a bad guy, that wouldn't be what we want. But if we're going to use this demonstration for training and to give our users a little bit more knowledge, we may go into our host file and put in 192.168.231.128 and redirect that to facebook.com. So when our users are typing in facebook.com, it's going to redirect over to that IP address. Therefore, you may be able to put that hyperlink inside of an email and have much more success with getting your users to click on that for training purposes with your employee base. So we'll minimize that. We're going to type in www.facebook.com. We're going to go ahead and hit enter. And Facebook comes up. However, this isn't the standard Facebook account. This is the one pointed back to our web address. So let's say my sign-in is josh@gmail.com. My password. I'm going to type my password in, go ahead and hit login, and you'll notice the site then lists this IP address, which should look familiar to us, and we're done. Well, to the end user, they may not know what exactly happened, but if we hop back over to our Kali Linux box and we browse out into the file system, we're going to be able to go to a file in the VAR, the var folder, then the www folder, and it's going to create a harvester file, a text file. If we open this text file, you'll notice right here you can see the credentials that I typed in. josh@gmail.com. My password was test1234! We have now successfully obtained the username and password for a user who's trying to access their Facebook account. So if we had 100 users on our network trying to do this, and they were all going to Facebook, we'd have 100 different entries within this file. So as you can see, this would be a pretty powerful tool, not only for bad guys, but also internally for training to teach your users and show them how important it is to know exactly what they're clicking on, whether it be a good hyperlink or a bad hyperlink. So that's the end of my demonstration. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed it and learned a little bit about the social engineering toolkit within Kali Linux.